Good evening. Welcome. You hear me okay? Evening, Bloodlines. Evening, Chase. Is it okay if I paint Emperor's Children? I mean, do we have a choice? Do we have a choice? Yes, it's fine if you paint Emperor's Children. We'll let you off this time. I'm not really sure where I'm going with these guys. Maybe need some standard grey as well. Got a lot of base coating to do. No, purity seals. Let's do some of them as well. Okay. There's a few paints. Evening, Boris. Evening, Thrillwood. I think this paintbrush is not long for this world, honestly. Okay, it's fine. We'll make it work. What's everybody up to today? Everyone had a good day? It's been crazy hot this last week in Scotland, so I am chilling in here with the windows open and the fan is on, so if you hear a breeze, it's because I've been roasting the last few days. I played my first game with Blood Angels in a hot minute this week with the Inceptors, which I never use. I've probably had these, I think I've had these Inceptors since I moved into this house. I moved into this house 5 years ago. Or not quite 5 years, but it will be 5 years pretty soon. So I figured that's where I'm starting tonight. Inceptors. And I think I'm going to be playing Inceptors a lot more in Angelic Inheritors. I'm not really sure I know how to use Inceptors. I think that's the reason I literally never play them, is I don't really know if I know how to use them, but I'm going to practice. We're going to keep going with the Inceptors, because I feel like something Blood Angels are really lacking with. If you watch my video this week, you'll know I was talking about, like, we're really lacking with the ability to do 3 damage a swing. You know, the removal of Thunder Hammers being our 3 damage crutch, essentially, has been removed. So maybe the Inceptors need to be the 3 damage crutch. Talking of new Sangre Guard, I saw that Joy Toy are releasing like the new Sangre Guard. God, I actually don't own any Joy Toys personally, but my god, are they cool models. Like, I would like to buy 2,000 points of Joy Toys and play like an upscaled game. I think that would be super cool. I think it would also cost literally thousands of dollars, because I think like one model for a Joy Toy is like 30 or 40 bucks. But I could get on board with that. I think that would be super cool to have like your whole army as Joy Toys. The new Sangre Guard have grown on you. I still have only made one of them. I'm still using all Firstborn Sangre Guard rebased on new bases. But then I haven't been doing as much. Like, I've been trying to make more YouTube videos, and I guess if I try and make more YouTube videos, it means I paint even less. And I haven't someone who paints a whole lot in a given week, you know. Like, for example, like Saturday's my day off work. I didn't have to spend the whole day with the kids, but I did spend the whole day with the kids. So it's like it's pretty hard for me to find time to paint stuff. So yeah, I'm still using the Firstborn. Do you know what? I had Assault Centurions at the last tournament I was at just a few weeks ago, man, and I get Assault Centurions are cool with their flat 3 damage. My issue with them is I just think they're too slow. Right? I mean, I was playing them in Stormlands, which means they have permanent advance and charge. I still think they're too slow in Stormlands. So if I feel like they're too... I think it's just because sometimes you roll a 1 on that advance, and when you roll a 1 on the advance and they move 5 inches, It's absolutely tragic. You can't get them anywhere you need them to be. Classic Cambo. Hello, Cambo. You've gone classic on us. What does that mean? But yeah, I want to like Assault Centurions, I really do. But I really hate their movement. Maybe if it was 5 inches, they would be doable. Evening Infernal, how are you? But yeah, 4 inches just feels super rough. Like I don't think I can. I don't think I would take the Centurions to another tournament, right? Like I just didn't think that I got value out of them all that often. They occasionally made like a long charge and killed a bunch of stuff, but like you don't really want to be playing a unit for a whole tournament where you're like, well, maybe with a little bit of luck it might kill a unit. You know, like there's too many games where they just didn't perform. They're just moving slowly on one side of the board, not doing a whole lot. And I was like, ugh, Centurions. I've got 6 Inceptors with those cool flame bases from Deadly Prince Studios. Do you know what? I don't have any of the cool bases for my Inceptors. I just have the bog standard flight stands. I know some people hate the Games Workshop flight stands. I'm fine with them. I mean, I don't really use too many units that have flight stands, and like I said, I've had this unit for a very long time and not painted it. I also have 6 suppressors that I've had for a very long time and not painted as well, so it's going to be good to just get some paint on some of these. Sometimes I like it when the meta forces you to paint stuff that you have had for a long time and you haven't painted. Like, that's something I do enjoy, where it's like, oh, cool. Now this unit is really useful, I'm going to paint it, I've had it for ages. It'll be cool to get it painted. I mean, I was painting my Brutalis Dreadnought a little bit, but I'm still, you know, I'm still not sold on the Brutalis Dreadnought. I don't think he's good enough for 160 points. Like, I just can't really... I played him at a tournament. I just don't know if I can really feel like he was justifiable. I played him because I thought he would be fun, and I never used the model. I think if we're talking competitive, like Brutalis Dreadnought, Death Company Dreadnought, I don't know if I'm using either of those two things. I think they're very difficult to play. I mean, I thought it was difficult to play, and I had it in a friggin' Stormraven. Plus, there's a lot of things that Dreadnought will bounce off as well, because it's only AP2. I think that might be a big weakness with the Dreadnoughts. Like, AP2 is generally... feels a bit low, right? Like that big Dreadnought Fist, AP2? Is that just because it came out early in the edition, and we're at a point in the edition now where big weapons come out, they do a lot more damage? Hello, Brayden. Hello, Eternal Crusader. Working on my new Templars. How are your new Templars getting on? I think I'm going to do these pipes from their backpack. Maybe the same blue as I used the plasma. I haven't really decided what I'm doing with them, but I think I'm going to do something like that. But yeah, I've got a little while till my next GT, I guess. So hopefully that gives me a month or two to get together an Angelic Inheritors list with Inceptors. I think I'm going to have Hellblasters as well. Like, the more I play Hellblasters, the more I think that there's room in the there's room in the codex for them. That's the wrong thing to say. I think there's room in an Angelic Inheritors list for some Hellblasters. So I'm probably going to try and make a tournament list around the Hellblasters and the Inceptors, I think. That's sort of how I'm feeling about it. Picked up 2 new Ancients. Cool. I did see that a couple of Black Templar characters could be conversion opportunities. Tell me, did anyone play that crazy list from last week where it was like all the captains? Did anyone actually try that? I was really tempted to try that list. I think it's got 13 captains. Inceptors, a Desolation, or a Devastator squad, excuse me. And an Impulsor and some Intercessors. Like, I thought I thought it would be fun, maybe I thought it would be fun probably more than I thought it would be competitive. But I also think nobody would know how to play against it, which sometimes can make lists competitive. I mean, I've beaten players that are massively higher than me in like the ELO rankings for Warhammer by doing just that, by taking lists that I designed that nobody knows how to play against. Are the wings upside down? Yeah, the wings wouldn't fit on the jump pack, dude. I mean, these guys don't even ship with wings, right? So these are Sanguinary Guard wings, just glued right in the middle of the jump pack, upside down, to make these guys more Blood Angels. Whether or not it is a good conversion, I mean, that's up to you to decide, I guess. If you don't like it, don't do it with your ones, but I saw somebody do something like this on Twitter where they or maybe it was Facebook, I don't remember. But I saw someone had stuck wings on their Inceptors, and I thought, cool. And this is how I decided to do it. In hindsight, as in like with most conversions, there's probably a better way I could have done it. Like I could have probably cut them, maybe. But yeah, they are upside down Sanguinary Guard wings. But like I said, I think I did this conversion about 5 years ago. I would say that my skills are forever improving. Modeling for disadvantage. Yes. I don't model for it. Well, at least you know that, like, I'm an honest player, right? Like, I go to tournaments and I take goofy lists and I literally I make my models bigger, so it's easier for my opponent to kill them, right? And I still sometimes win tournaments. So how about how do you like them apples? You know? Yeah. So I guess these guys are modeled for disadvantage. Matthew, good evening. I'm winning Lag versus Necron Hypercrypt, 55 to 24, bottom of turn 3 with a goofy list. Keep going, man. Concentrate on your game. Why are you here in the live chat? Good luck. Mind you, if you're winning by 30 points with only a couple of turns left, maybe you can chill. I don't know if I would be tuning into a stream when I'm trying to win a game. I probably wouldn't be. Braden says, I'm going to be running Terminators in my Angelic Inheritors for a local tournament because I have them painted. What do you think is better? Chaplain, 100%. Because Terminators just need +1 to wound. Because they don't have that many attacks, they don't have that high strength. The Librarian has the higher damage ceiling cap, 100%, right? Because you could run the Librarian for the Sustained, and then you could pay 1 CP for Red Rampage. But I think that, you're running Inheritors, it's not Red Rampage, is it? It's Focus Fury. But here's the thing, I think you want to be keeping Focus Fury for like your Sanguinary Guard unit or something. Maybe if you don't have any other melee unit, you'd be okay with Librarian, because then every turn the Librarian fights, you can go, and I'll pay for the +1 to wound strat. But if you aren't doing that, and I imagine you probably aren't, then I would say I would go for the Chaplain. He also gives a better defensive profile. His actual output is pretty poor. Like, his Crozius is pretty poor. But I mean, you take him for the +1 to wound, right? And I guess a 4-up Field No Pain against Mortals is not the worst thing in the world again, right? Did I pick up Dawn of War Remastered? I was thinking about it, man, but like, I don't get a huge amount of time to play video games. I've been playing Dune Awakening. I don't know if people like Dune Awakening here. I like the universe of Dune, right? Like, I liked it from the original novel. I liked the 84 film, even though a lot of people didn't like the 84 film. Or maybe it wasn't 84. I can't remember what year the first Dune movie came out. I also liked like a few of the mini-series they did on the Sci-Fi Channel. So I've been playing some Dune Awakening. I'm probably like 50 hours in. I've had it since launch. I mean, some people are 300 hours in. I don't play too many video games. But like, I don't know if I'm ready to quit Dune Awakening. And I guess if I buy Dawn of War, I don't know how I would split the time, because I mean, I've not ruled out buying it. I might just buy it when I'm fed up of Dune Awakening. Yeah, you know, I know it's only $15. I might buy it. Here's the thing though, like, if I play real-time strategy, I like Warcraft 3. I like the little battles with the hero and the RPG elements. Like, I really love Warcraft 3. I've played Warcraft 3 since it came out, right? Like 2003 or something. I probably have 10,000 games of Warcraft 3. I've basically never quit it. I've been playing it for 20 years, 22 years or something. I still think it's the greatest turn-based strategy game. I love it. So the thing is, every time I've bought a bunch of other real-time strategy games over the years, and if they're not as good as Warcraft 3, like, I feel like I just can't play them. Like, I buy another strategy game, 6 months later, that strategy game's on the shelf, and I'm just playing Warcraft 3 again. Before I had the YouTube channel, I did that as well with, like, I played World of Warcraft for a bit. I bought a couple of other, like, whatever you would call them, like, MMO style, MMORPG games, and then, like, the second I was playing them, I was like, why am I buying another one of these where I already got a character in World of Warcraft? So, I don't know. I mean, I can afford the $15. The money's not the problem. I just don't know if I'm going to play it, right? I need to watch a review and decide, because I know that it's only on sale for a couple of weeks, right? So I need to, if anyone knows who's done a good review on the Dawn of War game, send me a link and I'll watch that and make a call. But the thing that I like most in real-time strategy games is like the 1 versus 1, player versus player mode. Like, that's what I want to play. Basically the same as like playing 40k, right? Like, I want to test my skill against somebody else one-on-one. And like, does Dawn of War have a ladder? Like, is that a thing that they're going to have? What time will my game be tomorrow? I'm not playing tomorrow, dude. I play on Wednesday nights. Same time every Wednesday night, 7:30 UK time. So that's like 2:30 Eastern. Somebody said something really nice there. What was it? Mark said those are the sweetest Inceptors. Thanks, dude. I mean, I didn't do too much to them, honestly. Just put on like a couple of tiny small Blood Angels bits to try and make them cooler. And yeah, before you ask, the wings are upside down. But yeah, I just wanted them to be unique. That's usually how I usually just go for unique, quirky. Maybe that's just what I am. Unique and or quirky. It's been fantastic weather here. Yeah, I took my kids out. My wife had to work this afternoon, so I took my kids out for like a 2-mile walk. It was nice. It was lovely, actually. I feel like I've never got enough CP or strats. I mean, there's only a few ways you can get more CPs or strats for Blood Angels. I mean, that is a tricky thing that is prevalent this edition, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. It's hard to have lots of CP in Blood Angels at the moment. I really think that if Dante's main rule was like the +1 CP, like all the other chapter masters, and not the stupid battle shock, I think that would have been a lot better, honestly. We could have multiplayer matches. Yeah, I would want to play ladder matches though, man. Yeah, my last set of Inceptors were red, but what happens with me is from time to time, I'll have painted a lot. I'll have just finished like 2 or 3 squads in red. And like if I've done 3 squads in red, I'm like, I cannot be bothered doing another squad in red. So I just like spray them gold or I spray them black, and I'm just like, this is a Death Company squad, even though it's obviously not a Death Company squad. Or in this case, these are like sanguinary Inceptors, even though there's obviously no such thing as sanguinary Inceptors. I just do it because I get bored of painting red all the time. I think that's one of the great things about Blood Angels is, like my Blade Guard are all gold. Like most people do like golden helmets for the Blade Guard, and then like red armor. I did the opposite. So I did all my Blade Guard with golden armor, like the Sanguinary Guard, and gave them red helmets. And like, I know thematically or lore-wise, that's probably not, well, it's definitely not correct. But like, does it look cool? Yeah. Did it let me not paint another unit red when I was sick of painting red and keep my painting going? Yeah, probably. So I think as Blood Angels, we're very lucky. I suppose if you play Dark Angels, you could do the same thing, right? Like you just paint a couple of units Ravenwing, or you could paint a couple of units Deathwing. Just if you're sick of painting green all the time, or dark green. I can't imagine painting that much dark green. Doesn't sound fun, man. Some people swear by the Battleshock aura, though. Well, I think the people that swear by the Battleshock aura probably just haven't played it enough times, because his Battleshock aura, like, it triggers like 50% of the time at best. In my experience, it's much more like 30% of the time. And I like to use rules that are guaranteed. You know, like I like to do the maths, and I like to know before I'm like, you know, like, you're very rarely going to find me in a Warhammer 40,000 game making a 10-inch charge. You know, like, because I like to play the percentages. I like to be like, okay, if I need to make this charge, I need to be like 4 or 5 inches away. Like, you know, like, I have a lot of games actually where with Blood Angels where like I go through the entire game never failing a charge, never re-rolling a charge, right? So it's like I like to play like high percentage plays. I don't like to just jump Dante in and go, well, I hope his Battleshock aura goes off. Because, spoiler, it's not going to go off when you need it to go off. It's the same as like Gilliman coming back to life, right? Like, Gilliman comes back to life on a 3-up with 6 wounds. If you need him to come back to life to win the game, he will not come back to life. If you've already won the game and you don't need him, he will come back to life. Like, you know, there's a high element of random dice, it feels like, in Warhammer. And I think I just don't rate Dante's Battleshock aura at all. I mean, I've played Dante 100 times this edition. I think once, maybe twice, his Battleshock aura has helped me. Like, it's literally that low percentage for me. You know, like, I've been at tournaments where I'm like, I really need this Battleshock aura to go off. Nope. But it goes in Battleshocks like a fucking transport on the 12 inches away. I'm like, cool. We Battleshock the transport. Great job. Marcus says I miss 8th edition. It was too fun. 8th edition was kind of unbalanced though, Marcus, because you could just take like 3 120 point captains, and I'm pretty sure in 8th edition you could, I'm pretty sure that I one-shot an Astraeus with like a 129 point captain, because you could get him up to about 8 attacks if you joined the Death Company. You could get him to do 4 damage a swing from a relic or something. So he has 8 attacks, probably like hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s, was it? Because he's a captain. And then he probably wounded on like 3s. Possibly even wounded on 2s because of Blood Angels +1 to wound back in 8th edition. And then you could pay 2 CP to fight again. So you got all those attacks with flat 4 damage, and then you just fought again with all 8 attacks again with flat 4 damage again. And you could, like, you honestly, like, I'm 90% sure I killed an Astraeus in 1 round of combat with a 120 point captain, and Astraeus is like 650 points. So yeah, 8th edition was fun, but it was also, the balance was a bit, well, was there any balance, I guess? Army List show goes out on a Sunday at 8 o'clock. Greetings, Bearded Coyote. Greetings, James Richards. How are you? Good evening, Marius. Thanks again for the game on Wednesday night, Marius. I really wish your Land Raider hadn't exploded, because I think that game would have been oh so much closer if you hadn't taken 14 mortal wounds from the Land Raider explosion. Like, that is literally the worst ever Land Raider explosion. You know, have we ever seen... I don't think on my stream we've ever seen someone take 14 mortal wounds from a vehicle explosion. That was brutal. And what's even more brutal about it is I didn't have a single unit in range, right? So it was just like, it just blew up and decimated half your army. It didn't even hit me for one mortal. Thoughts on a Brick of Hellblasters, Lieutenant, and an Apothecary in a drop pod? Which detachment? Inheritors? Campbell says, I've decided I have a serious plastic problem. I think most people that play Warhammer have a serious plastic problem, right? I mean, I suppose the second your pile of shame gets more than a couple of $100 of stuff, which I feel like most people have, you probably have somewhat of a problem. I feel like at the rate that I paint, I'm never gonna get my stuff finished. I'm never gonna get to a point where my pile of shame is empty. Because my wife was all like, when we had our first children, my wife was always like, she was really worried. She's like, oh, but if we have kids, you know, there won't be money to do anything. You won't be able to buy any more Warhammer. And I kept saying to her, I was like, sweetheart, I don't need to buy more Warhammer. If anything, not being able to buy Warhammer is probably a good thing, because it would force me to finish some of this ridiculous pile of shame I have. So stop worrying about me getting Warhammer. I don't need to buy Warhammer every month, right? Like... I like them more in Angelic Inheritors, probably. Am I going to try the 15 captain list? You know, I'm tempted to try it, but just for fun. I think over the next few weeks, like, I just played my first game in a hot minute with Angelic Inheritors, because I had like a month, probably like a month and a half break there, where I was playing Stormlance Ultramarines. So did that for a month and a half. And I just built like a new Angelic Inheritors list that's like somewhat fresh in my mind. And I think I'm going to play that at least for like a month or two. But yeah, I haven't ruled, like, the captain list sounds stupid and fun. I think it would be fun. A few $100, that's like 3 units. Yeah, I guess back in the day, a few $100 was like 20 units, right? I forget how much Warhammer's gone up these days. Campbell says, I've decided to start collecting Blood Angels, so I have 20k points, maybe 2k painted. I'd focus on trying to get more stuff battle ready at that point. Dante's Battleshock has won me one game in a tournament, swinging primary and linchping, but super swingy. Yeah, I mean, Dante has probably won me a game as well with his Battleshock aura, but there's been plenty of times where I've really needed it to go off, and it's not gone off. In the tournament I was at recently, actually, my opponent had that... my opponent was World Eaters, and he had a Demon Prince with the helmet that does like flat 4 a swing, and he had him like really far forward, and I was like, he's put that Demon Prince too far forward, and I had Dante plus 3 Sangry Guard and a Land Raider. And I was like, I can jump on him 100%. Like, I can come out this Land Raider 3 inches, I can move 12, and I'm basically at that point, like, I'm almost on top of him. I've got like, let's say I've got like a 3 or 4 inch guaranteed charge, and I was trying to do it in my head, because I was like, if I charge him, and my Battleshock aura goes off, and he can't play -1 damage, he's 100% dead, and like a lot of his like free strats and stuff came out of that, a lot of his free strats and stuff was going to come out from the Demon Prince. So I was like, oh my god, if I managed to like essentially snipe his Demon Prince with Dante and the 3 Sangry Guard, that would be huge. And this is like turn 1. I was like, that would be a really good play for me. Yeah, okay, you know, like, it's a tournament. Sometimes you've got to be a little bit more aggressive. let's do it. Let's jump in. Let's try and take out the Demon Prince before he becomes a problem. Let's hope that he's got 2 CP, so he can do -1 damage on it. Let's just hope let's hope he fails the battle shock. And I jump in, and of course the damn Demon Prince doesn't fail the battle shock, uses the -1 damage strat, and like survives on like 2 wounds. And then obviously like Dante and the whole squad of Sangre Guard get mopped up, and I'm just like, oh, it's just the worst, isn't it? Like, you just can't, like... Fortunately, I won that game, but it was rough. It would be better even if Dante's ability was just like once per game he causes battle shock, like rather than like the enemy roll it. You can just choose, like once per game, just cause battle shock and an aura, like a guarantee. Like, that would be more preferable to me. Because Dante doesn't really survive all that well anymore, right? Like, he's just a toughness 4 marine with 6 wounds. Like, in general, that survivability, I guess, in the scale of 10th edition 40k, that's pretty low survivability, I would say, right? Like, a lot of people can kill a 6 wound toughness 4 marine in 1 turn, right? Like, it's not even remotely difficult, I would feel like. But yeah, welcome to the chapter with your 18,000 points of painted stuff. But hey, I mean, maybe the same thing will happen to you. Maybe in future years you won't be able to buy as much Warhammer. Well, you're all set. You've got your stock now. You're ready to go. Good evening, Mike. How are you? How's work been treating you, Mike? I remember you saying you were pretty busy at the moment. You got a lot of commissions going at the moment for Blood Angels, or is it slowed down a bit? I'm still feeling a bit sleep deprived. I was at a soccer game like 125 miles away or something on Thursday night, and the game went to extra time and penalties, so I didn't get home on Thursday night till like 2 a.m. after having to drive for like 3 hours. So yeah, I am definitely feeling like I've been catching up on sleep. Picked up the brush for the first time in over a week. Work is over for a week now, after pulling 12 or 16 hour days. Man, I hate pulling long days like that. It's so draining. I like Stern Guard, but I don't know if I like them in any of the Blood Angels detachments. I really like them with Ultramarines. But yeah, I feel like a few people are trying to make Stern Guard work with Blood Angels. Evening Pound, how you doing? Yeah, we're painting some of the sanguinary Interceptors, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I found with the Stern Guard, having played them at the tournament, was like, I understand why people play them in Gladius a lot, right? Because Gladius lets you increase their AP by 1 and ignore cover. Cover makes the Stern Guard's regular attacks much less, so then it comes down to just the mortal wounds. I mean, they still do a good number of mortal wounds, But I feel like I can totally see why, like, they're winning tournaments with Ultramarines in Gladius, because Storm of Fire on them is a very, very strong strat for Sternguard. Like, you could build your whole Gladius army around Sternguard, I think, just because they are cheap, but they really they need your Oath of Moment. I guess that's the trick with them. Hello, Jim. John says 18k. I was like, wow, that's a huge army. Then I started adding up my Space Marines: 12k Imperial Fist, 6k Blood Angels, 4k Raven Guard, 3k Knights, and Lord knows how many bugs. Here's the thing, right? Like, I have friends, and like, my hobby is obviously Warhammer, and I'm very lucky, I guess, to have this channel and to have people want to hang out with me while I do my hobby, right? Because, like, this is a hobby for me. Like, I love it, and I'm very lucky to have the channel. But some of my friends, their hobby is like going to the bars to have drinks. And like, if you go to a bar now, I'm sure everybody is aware of this. If you go to a bar for a drink these days, you're lucky to get a pint of beer now for like £10. I mean, I guess if you're in America, I haven't been to America since 2017. It's not from lack of want, because I love America. My dad used to have a house in America, and for like my whole childhood, we used to holiday in America like every year, because my dad had this house in America. So I love America. But like, last time I was in America was 2017, and I think in 2017 you'd be like $8 for a beer, maybe more. I'd be very surprised if a beer in America is like, at a bar, is less than $10 now, right? Someone in chat will tell me how much it costs for a beer in America, please. You know, like, so here's the thing: if I went out for the evening, like if I go out at like 9 o'clock, let's say, and I come home at 1 a.m, that's 4 hours. Probably drink 2 beers an hour. You know, like, you sort of adjust your drinking speed to the people you're with. I have friends that would drink 3 beers an hour. I have friends that drink 2 beers an hour. I have friends that drink 1 beer an hour. And I could go, you know, like, I would just keep up with probably whoever I'm with. But like, if you drink 8 beers and then like a couple of shots of like a couple of whiskeys to finish off the night, 10 drinks is... People in Scotland drink a lot of alcohol. I'm probably on the low end, so like on a night out, 10 drinks for me is quite a lot. But like, I have friends that would go out night out and have 30 drinks, honestly. If I had 30 drinks, I'd be crawling home in a gutter somewhere. But yeah, 10 drinks for me is quite a lot. But I mean, I occasionally I would have a crazy night, maybe where I'd go like 15 drinks. But like, if you're talking 10 quid a drink, and you go out once or twice, like, I don't go out very often. Like, in fact, this year, I didn't have my first alcoholic drink for like 6 months of the year. And it wasn't really a conscious choice. It's like, I just don't really drink alcohol very much anymore. But yeah, so like, the way I sort of look at it is like, if you've spent, let's say, $200 in Warhammer, at least at the end of it, you've got a nice thing to show for it. Whereas like, if you went to the bar and spent $200, what have you got to show for it except like a wasted day the day after and a headache, you know? So like, everybody's got their hobby. I really see Warhammer as like a positive hobby where you have something to show for your time and effort, right? And in fact, the thing that got me back into Warhammer about a decade ago was, I've said it a few times, I was actually playing a lot of video games when I was a student at university. We go back like 10 years, so I was just sort of getting into my 30s. I don't encourage our addiction. I'm validating our addiction, haven't I? I was going to say, before I got back into Warhammer, I was actually playing a lot of World of Warcraft. Like, I have a bunch down here of, like, like, World of Warcraft. What is this? The Wrath of the Lich King Collector's Edition. Like, I have a bunch of these. I don't really know why I'm keeping them, honestly. But I had a bunch of those, and I played a bunch of World of Warcraft, and the way I was looking at it was like, I spent all this time in that game, and I spent all this money, because World of Warcraft, you got to pay every month, right? You got to pay like $10 a month just to play the game. And I was like, I have nothing to show for this. I mean, I've got my character that lives on the server that I can, like, log into. But realistically, like, for all the time and effort and the money that I spent on that, I have nothing to show for it. And I was like, I think at that point I must have been, like, cleaning out my house, and I found a bunch of my old Warhammer, and I was like, Warhammer seems like much better than this. Like, I'll have something to show for it. I have some pride in the work I've done, like my models that look good. I've got some pride and stuff. But yeah, there's a few people in chat, like Braden is saying in Canada it's $8.50 to $9.50 for a bottle of beer. It's criminal. In cities in America it's 10 plus in tourist spots. Last concert I went to, I paid $75 for 6-pack of Busch Light Tall Boys. I don't know what a Busch Light Tall Boy is, but I imagine it's just like a standard beer, right? In SoCal it's 10 to 12, trendy places it's 15, sports bars it's like 20. Yeah, so if it's $20 for a beer now, anyone that's judging you for buying some Warhammer, tell them where to go, man, honestly. Like, yeah, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? So yeah, I think that having a pile of shame of Warhammer is fine, within reason, maybe. But yeah, maybe there is a point where you're like, I don't know, let's say your pile of shame hits $1,000. Maybe that's the point where it's like, my pile of shame is $1,000 worth of stuff. I should stop buying Warhammer for a little while. Like there probably is a point that should be there. Do we need to create a group, Pile of Shame Anonymous or whatever? And if the pile forever, you can only enter the group if you can prove that you have $1,000 of models brand new on sprues. Three beers and a headache versus a new Gladiator Lancer. Well, I mean, when you put it like that, it's, like, I'm not knocking my friends who enjoy drinking, right? Like, I enjoy a drink just as much as anyone. But, like, drinking is not my hobby, right? Alex, I'm feeling attacked. My pile of shame is I thought you were going to say I'm feeling attacked. Drinking is my hobby. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess... Well, Alex, you can be chairman of Pile of Shame Anonymous. You can accept all the new members. You can validate if their pile of shames are big enough. Because you can't get, if you only got $500 of a pile of shame, then you can't join, right? Like, there's got to be a, it's got to be somewhat serious. Like 500 pounds of pile of shame. I'm joking, man. There's probably someone in chat who can't afford 500. It builds up over time, though, right? Like we're saying there, if you went for one night out a month, 8 beers or 10 drinks, that's $1,200 a year. It's bonkers, man. Braden just went out for an old fashioned and he got a 17 Canadian. Yeah, I mean, I like espresso martinis, man. Like if I usually drink whiskeys or espresso martinis. And espresso martinis are like 100 mils of liquid, and they literally cost like $15. And you finish them in 2 mouthfuls because they're fucking delicious. Evening, Nasser. How you doing? You watching the Arsenal Man United game tomorrow, Nasser? You better be. 4:30 kickoff. I looked after my kids all day today, so I better get a free pass tomorrow when the football kicks off. You know, like the wife doesn't know it yet, but I made sure that like the whole day I had both kids. Like she just didn't have to bother with the kids at all today. So tomorrow I'll be like, Arsenal Man United is on at 4:30. I'll spring it on her at like 4 o'clock, so she's got like no time to go out or make up an excuse, you know. Rovin Daniel, good evening. You built 20k points. You're doing well, man. As long as you're doing something with them, that's fine, right? I remember seeing a Facebook Marketplace listing that was a family selling their dad's pile of shame as he passed. It looked like a hobby shop had closed. Some people do that, man. But like I said, if a random night out of 10 drinks is $120 or $100, it's not hard to build a big pile of shame. It's not even that, relatively as a hobby, it's not that expensive. We all complain that they put the prices up all the time, but like, I guess with the world going the way it is, it's not too bad. I'll need to pass the torch when I die and get one of the kids to become the new Blood Angels commander. You actually bought a Storm Speeder. Which variant are you gonna magnetize it, I guess, or are you gonna? What are you doing with a Storm Speeder, by the way? I've tried them a few times. I don't know how I feel about them. Yeah, Marius does have a Titan. He's been painting it up on Twitter. But yeah, a lot of people are also playing Battlefield 6 at the moment, or like the Battlefield 6 open beta, so I was like, I like Battlefield as well, so I'm probably going to end up buying that. So yeah, I don't know about Dawn of War, like, I just don't know if I'm going to have time to play Dawn of War, man. I never actually completed Space Marine 2 either. I mean, I liked Space Marine 2, but I never got around to completing it. Are you enjoying Dawn of War, Mike? Have you tried out your list from the last battle report, but without the second Vindicators at Ultras, and has it worked? I mean, I've played that list one time, and it was against Ultramarines with the double Vindicators. And the Vindicators were very pivotable in the victory because they blew up the Land Raider, and the Land Raider like spilt out 14 mortal wounds. I somewhat don't like how much Marines are carried by Vindicator tanks, but Vindicator tanks are very good. I mean, there's a reason that everybody has them in their competitive lists, right? Because when they pop off big time. And they just kill just about anything. I mean, in Ultramarines, they're even more bonkers, because it's just like, you wound literally everything in the game on 2s, and you get absolutely bonkers number of shots, potentially. Like, one of the tournaments I was at recently was second place was a guy with Ultramarines, Guilliman, Ultramarines, and like 3 Vindicator tanks. So no, I mean, I've just played that list one time on Wednesday night. I'm hoping I'll probably play it again this Wednesday. I'm probably not going to change the list too much. I mean, I'm probably not going to make any changes until the list loses, to be honest. That's usually how I do it. I usually build a list, play it until it loses, because I feel like when you win, you don't always get you don't always learn anything when you win, right? Like I often win games. Like, that's not me being big-headed, it's just the truth. I win games and then I don't evaluate anything about my list. I just go home because I've won the game and I just feel happy about it. But then when I lose, it forces me to think about things. Mario says, I was going to take 2 Vindicators with me for our game, but I thought we were being gentle. Dude, thank you so much. You don't need to do $4.99 super chat, but I do appreciate it, man. Is 2 Vindicators, is that not gentle? Is that not gentlemanly? I mean, I feel like 3 is maybe not gentlemanly. I think 2 is probably fine. We could do a rematch whenever you're ready for a rematch and bring 2 Vindicators. We can do that. It was worth finishing Space Marine 2 if you get a chance. It was so sick. Yeah, I was doing really well with it, I feel like, because I was playing it on the hardest difficulty and I was keeping up with all the other streamers. Then I got to like a really badly bugged bit and it sapped all my energy for the game. Like, it was so frustrating. 2 is fine, says John. 3 gets the side eye. Yeah, I think 2 Vindicators is fine. 3 is like... 3's pushing it. Nothing teaches like failure. Yeah, exactly. You don't... I always feel like I learn... Like, in the run-up to a tournament, I almost want to lose a few games. Because I feel like if you just... Like, the tournament I just went to, I played my list 5 times, and I'd won 5 times in a row. So I didn't know how really to react to adversity with that list. We could co-op, what, Space Marine 2 or Dawn of War? I kind of forgot. Like, Space Marine 2's probably almost been out like a year now. Kind of forgot where I was. I hit that bug. I basically got stuck at a brick wall for like 3 nights in a row or something, and then that was it. That was me just... I was playing a bit of the PvP, but I really felt like the PvP lacked something. Like, every map was symmetrical. What are your thoughts on hovered versus... I mean, my thoughts are that they're just making all the tanks hovered, I guess. Like, they're slowly but surely legendsing all the Firstborn stuff. I would be surprised if they don't just continue to every edition legends more Firstborn stuff. So my thoughts is, if you don't like hover tanks, you're gonna soon need to like them, because there'll be no other tanks left. A lot of people seem to think the Land Raider is gonna stay. They're like, it's too iconic. But I mean, I don't know if I buy that. I just think that, like, the strategy that Games Workshop have at the moment is... I think the strategy they have is release new units, right? Or release new things. Like, I think that's possibly the if you break it down to the simplest form, that's like their strategy, right? Like, they don't really care that, you know, like Blood Angels with their flavor. You know, like, we loved the flavor of the Sangre Guard. We loved the flavor of the Death Company. They don't really care about that anymore, because we can't do that anymore. It doesn't exist. Those kits have been retired. There's no chance that they're coming back, it feels like. There's no talk about them. The Blood Angels Tactical Squad retired. The Firstborn upgrade sprue. The Firstborn upgrade sprue for the Blood Angels is 100% better than the Primaris upgrade sprue, the one that we have at the moment that you can buy. I was making some characters last week. The Firstborn upgrade sprue is honestly 10 times better. Even though half the stuff on the sprue doesn't even work anymore because it's Firstborn sized, the half that does work is better than anything that's on the Primaris upgrade sprue. But they just don't... they're just not doing that anymore. They're not letting you pick different war gear. They're not letting you customize models. They're just releasing new shit that you have to buy. I mean, they're a business that needs to make profit, right? And if I'm buying an upgrade sprue for $10, that's not that much profit. If I'm having to buy a whole new tank for $50, there's probably profit there. I mean, I hate getting into this because it just depresses me, because I like to do like, look at these guys. They're customized with Firstborn Sangre Guard wings. You can't even get Firstborn Sangre Guard wings, so these guys are probably going to be worth a pretty penny once I paint them up and they look good, because you can't get them anymore, right? But yeah, I mean, they never sold Firstborn Sangre Guard wings. You just had to buy the whole box. But that's the way it is now. So I think I think in the future there will be much less tanked tracked tanks, because most of them will be put legends, and we'll get all new Primaris tanks, because that will sell. And maybe they'll move those Firstborn tanks into Horus Heresy, because they keep making a big deal about that, saying like, oh, like the drop pod just went to Horus Heresy. I'm like, cool, I don't play Horus Heresy. I'm not interested in Horus Heresy. I play 40k, you know? So it's not a selling point for me that you can use the drop pod in Horus Heresy, because I couldn't care less. God, I'm so negative. I don't mean to be negative. It just comes out. One thing about me is I always, like, I'm one of these people that just tells the truth. I always think it's best to just try and tell the truth. So, like, if I come across negative, it's a genuine negative, and I know that YouTube, you get lots of clicks from being negative clickbait bullshit, but I try genuinely to not do that. The only customization you can do is the Sarge for the Intercessor squad. Yeah, I mean, it's like the lowest common denominator, right? Like, is a Sergeant on an Intercessor squad an exciting conversion? I would argue it really isn't. Guys, if you get 2 seconds, we've got 46 people watching, we've got 13 likes. It does help me out ever so much if you do just press that like button on the stream. Mary says, I've heard a rumor the Land Raider is going. Well, see, who knows what's going? I think it's dangerous to buy Firstborn models, because who knows what's staying and going, right? Nobody, I guess. But I'll tell you one thing, is I definitely miss all the customization and customization and cool kits with, like, Blood Angels, heraldry, things like that, you know, like, that's something that I really enjoyed, and I feel like it's going to be really sad if we lose that. I mean, we kind of already have lost it, but, like, maybe it'll come full circle and it'll come back to a certain degree. I mean, you can still do some bits and bobs of kit bashing, but yeah, it's just not on the level it was before, right? I mean, there's been a big shove to get the game to a more competitive space, and one of the negatives of the competitive space, I suppose, is everything needs to be quite balanced and quite uniform, and you can't just, you know, used to be like, oh, you want a librarian with a jump pack? No problem. You want a librarian on a bike? No problem. You want a Sangre Priest on a bike? No problem. You want a Sangre Priest with a jump pack? Yeah, sure, we'll do. You know, like, all these things existed, and then very quickly they all unexisted, I guess, right? Our bling just needs to be printed. Well, I mean, that's good for you, Alex, I guess, with all your 3D printers, but, like, as a regular chump that doesn't have space in his house for a 3D printer, at least I feel like I quite liked having the opportunity to just buy upgrade sprues or kits that were very customized customizable straight from Games Workshop, right? I mean, occasionally I've bought 3D printed stuff. Ah, shit buckets, don't drop the logo. But, and you know, like, I do have a fair amount of 3D printed stuff, I guess, in my army now. But, like, I did like the fact that most of it you could just buy straight up, you know, from the GW, I guess.
Edwilla9849 donated $10 via Super Chat. Really feels like they want to sell a lot of kits that do exactly one thing, so you have to have it on the shelf for when you need it.
Willen9849. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Like, there's a sort of like design philosophy behind the Primaris Marines, and maybe some of the other armies have this as well, where like a unit has one role. You know, like, units don't really get to do more than one role, and then the unit has very little customization, so you just need that entire unit, like you said. Like, for example, like, you know, Blade Guard, for example, are the one melee unit with swords that, like, chop up infantry, and there's no customization there. You just need to have Blade Guard. There's nothing else that can do quite what Blade Guard can do. Have the invulnerable save, and have the AP, and have the 2 damage, and lots of attacks, and stuff, you know, and it's just like, that is the unit that you need to have, and you need to have, well, right now, Blade Guard are doing very well if you have 18 of them, so you just need to have a crap load of Blade Guard. Thank you so much for the 10 on the super chat. But yeah, it's just a different direction. Trying to make the game like super balanced for competitive play will do this to the game. And the rumors are 11th edition is going to be very similar in terms of like rules and competitiveness. So we lose a lot of the spice. I still have the copium that we didn't get Death Company models because Daddy Sanguinius comes back. I heard a really interesting rumor or thought from someone in one of the other live shows saying that they thought that the reason that we don't, like, if you go to gamesworkshop.com, you can't buy any Death Company right now, right? Someone was saying that they think the reason that the Death Company don't exist there is because they're going to get a refresh. Like a whole refresh, like, because they haven't quite hit the mark with them. They need a bit of a refresh, and they think that, like, essentially they'll get refreshed to some degree in 11th edition. And I was like, I don't really want them to be refreshed again after just selling me a Death Company box, but it kind of makes a little bit of sense in that, like, it's a bit weird that there's no way to buy them right now. I mean, Death Company with bolt rifles were the biggest myths ever. Like, nobody, I don't know anyone that ever ran Death Company with bolt rifles. Maybe somebody did, but flex units are way harder to balance. They are indeed. And flex units, I guess, also means less sales, right? And I guess shareholders need sales. I like flex units. I mean, in some weird ways, the Vindicator tank is literally it's like it's the complete opposite of a standard unit, right? Like, it's the ultimate flex unit. You know, it's got up to 9 shots. It's got blast. It's got AP3. It's got strength 14. It's got D6 damage. It's got a 2-up save. Like, the Vindicator tank is just everything that they don't want units to have right now. And the Vindicator tanks are crazy popular, right? Like, it's so weird. It's so, this edition to me is weird in a sense. But yeah, thanks so much for the $10 on the super chat. I do really appreciate it. I have made 0 Death Company out of my Death Company box. Frankie, I made 2. There was 27 models in that box. I made 2 because I didn't have any Death Company with Eviscerators. So I made, like, I think you can take 2 Eviscerators in the 10-man squad. I actually haven't finished them, but I did make 2 and they're like 3/4 of the way painted. I guess I was painting them and then I realised, like, oh, Death Company Eviscerators are still kind of garbage, so I just put them back in the box. Will you play Grey Knights anytime soon? I don't know if I have anyone that can bring Grey Knights on the channel against me. The only person I know that plays Grey Knights well is in Inverness, which is like an hour round trip. I played against them recently, before they got their Codex quicks, and I thought they were very weak. I hope their Codex makes them stronger, because their pre-Codex data sheets were very underwhelming. I mean, it was like 3 units of Terminators, 3 Dread Knights, or something like that. Like, there doesn't feel like they have a whole load of options, right? And they lost a bunch of the and the Librarians to try and ping off some mortal wounds. I was going to say, does Brett have Grey Knights? Brett's got World Eaters. Oh, Miles is doing Dark Angels now. I don't know if I've got anyone that plays Grey Knights. I mean, for the record, I like playing different opponents and getting different armies on stream. The only problem is I only have a few friends that are local that like come and play, and they're usually trying to get their competitive armies ready as well. So, like, Colin comes on the stream a lot playing his Death Guard because he's always taking his Death Guard to the tournaments, right? But yeah, no, that's why I was really happy that Marius came on the stream this week, because I can't remember the last time I actually played against Ultramarines on stream. Like, I've played as Ultramarines, but playing against Ultramarines, I feel like I haven't done that in ages. You should try playing against the new Space Wolves. I've got a friend that plays Space Wolves, but they've basically quit the game because they're angry at Games Workshop with, like, 10th edition, honestly, because they were a huge advocate of Space Wolves in like 8th and 9th edition, because I played against them a bunch, like before I had my channel, and I was I was just playing like at a friend's house. I had a friend that played Space Wolves all the time, and then 10th edition came out and he was like, I don't really like what they're doing with the game, and then he just never played anymore, and I'm like, fuck. So that's the thing that 9th and 10th edition had done to some people, was like, some people just didn't like the Primaris, the new rules, whatever you want to call it, and they just pieced out, man. I think the Legends stuff pieced out a few people as well, right? Like, a lot of people lost a bunch of units to Legends, and then they were just like, nah, fuck this, I'm done. I get that as well, right? Like, if you'd spent an awful lot of money on getting stuff ready, and then the Legends half your army, again, maybe, you know, we can say like, oh well, you could use those models in Horus Heresy, but some people don't give a shit about Horus Heresy, right? Some people are just, they've always played 40k, they want to keep playing 40k. If they Legends all their stuff, they're just not interested anymore. But yeah, I would like to play the new Space Wolves. Garen's got a space, you know, maybe I'll get a game against Garen in the summer. He did really well with the Space Wolves at the tournament that I was just at, actually. He said the Terminators are really good because they've got that, like, if your strength is higher than their toughness, it's -1 to wounds. So they're basically strength 5 Terminators with toughness 5 Terminators with -1 to wound most of the time. I used to run droves of free bolt pistol and chainsaw Death Company would roll for infantry. Yeah, I liked it when Death Company used to have chainswords and bolt guns, honestly. JT says, once I saw the first Primaris model, I was like, they're planning to replace the whole range. Yeah, I never twigged when they first revealed Primaris that they would ultimately replace the whole range. I thought it would be like a couple of new squads that could be cool. I really hope they don't have the long-term goal of getting people to play Horus Heresy. Well, they keep moving stuff to Horus Heresy, right? Like, that's what they keep doing. But yeah, I'm not going to start playing Horus Heresy. My channel is a 40k channel. I'm going to be playing 40k. if that means I've got to play more generic units, I guess that's what we're doing. But I mean, like I said, I'm one of these people that can't not be honest. It's just the way I am. Like I almost speak my mind too honestly at times. I get myself in trouble for being too honest sometimes. So if I'm upset, I'll just tell you straight up, like, I am upset about this because. Feels like all I'm going to get done tonight is laying out a column, laying out a ton of undercoat for what's going to be the metal on this Inceptor. If they kill flavor too much, I will make the switch to Heresy, says Campbell. Well, yeah, I mean, I think some people will make the switch, right? Like, the people that love the lore, some people will make the switch, yeah, 100%. Like I said, I'm not interested in Heresy. All the tournaments that I go to around here are 40k events, so I'm sure I could find Heresy tournaments, but yeah, honestly, I'm just not interested. I just want to do 40k. Isn't Horus Heresy just a twist on the old edition? Yeah, it basically is, but like you said, it's all... They're actually adding some... Like, they've added more to Heresy in terms of, like, variations in terms of armies and stuff. The new models they did the release box for looked very cool as well. Like, the Saturnine Terminators I thought did look cool, but... Braden says, I'm glad I have the old Firstborn kits to make the bland new models look at least somewhat Blood Angels-y. There you go. I wish I'd bought more of those old Firstborn kits, you know that? Like I should have seen that coming. Like, I should have seen that the Death Company were going away for good and that the Sangre Guard were going away for good, and the second they released those new Sangre Guard and everyone was like, oh my god, they look terrible. Like, I should have got onto Games Workshop and bought like 2 or 3 boxes of the old kits. I managed to pick up a couple of bits and bobs on eBay that were reasonably priced. But, yeah, I feel like I dropped the ball on that one. Maybe one day they'll come back on Made to Order. Heresy took a huge hit around me with this new edition. Well, the Legends a bunch of Heresy stuff as well, right? Is that not what happened? No one plays Heresy where you live? Yeah, I think a few of my friends have always said, like, they're interested in Heresy, but nobody actually commits and, like... Sometimes people buy the new boxes, but no one actually commits and, like, actually plays it or actually learns the rules, I guess. Hey Ramir, how you doing? Thank you. I mean, I'm just... I've had these Inceptors bloody ages, honestly. It always scares me, like, sometimes when I go back to a model, like these Inceptors, I might, like, go and look at, like, my purchase history and see when I bought them, and, like, sometimes it scares me. It's going to be like, you bought that model 5 years ago, and I'm like, oh my god. It's sat in my cupboard for 5 years and I've done nothing with it. So yeah, these ones were made ages ago. I think I only played them maybe like 1 or 2 times, and I really struggled to make Inceptors work for me before. So much so that I just sort of gave up trying to make them work. But now I feel like I'm committed to it. We're gonna run Inceptors for like the next 10 games or something. We're gonna 100% know how to use them properly by the end of it. And then I guess we'll decide if we're gonna keep them in the list long term. But yeah, I'm pretty set on trying to do something with these Inceptors, I guess. Well, the thing is, if you play them in Angelic Inheritors, there's a lot you can do with the Inceptors, right? You can get 12 shots from a mod of 6. They can each be AP3 3 damage twin linked, and you can give them sustained as well. I think I used the sustained on them this week and I got 14 hits from them. So 14 hits, and I was shooting Space Marines, so it's wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s. I think you actually had to take all 14 saves, or I think it was 13 or 14 saves. Flat 3 AP, flat 3 damage. And I basically blew through the entirety of Calgar's unit. I think, and he rolled really good in the Feel No Pain with Calgar, but I think if he hadn't, he basically lost. I think he lost 1 Victrix Guard, 5 Blade Guard, and he maybe like 4 wounds off Calgar or something. And he rolled really hot on Calgar's Feel No Pain as well. Like, I think he would have taken like 9 damage or something. He'd Feel No Pain, let's say 5 of them or something. Like, it was hot. Maybe it was even more than that. John buys the Primarchs. You mean the Horus Heresy Primarchs? That's a cool plan. Yeah, I mean, I would buy a Primarch to paint that. I mean, I just did buy Guilliman, right? And I have been enjoying somewhat painting Guilliman, but it's a slow process because he's got so much bloody trim on his armor. I feel like maybe I should have dry brushed Guilliman rather than try and paint his trim, but I'm painting the trim, I guess. I think maybe I need to, quite often now with crazy models, consider dry brushing before I spend hours of my life painting trim. Calgar is a beast, man. But I mean, the saves you were, the Feel No Pains you were rolling on Calgar were ridiculous. Yeah, I must admit, resin models are definitely not my favourite, just in general, I guess. But then they're probably nobody's favourite. I've painted a few Oh! Where did his wing go? I didn't even realise it was missing. Was it when I dropped him? Ah, shit buckets. Didn't even realise it had fallen off. Like I said, I'm catching up on sleep today, apparently. Oh, that's going to be a pain in the arse to glue back on. Can't even find where the right contact point is. Okay. Let's paint this bolter and then glue it back on. God damn it. Yeah, I was going to say, my brain is failing me today. I didn't even realise this wing must have been off for 5 minutes lying on the floor. I guess I was just focused on the bolters. I'm always breaking models on stream. That's what I need to cut, like... I was going to say, BA doesn't... The breaking idiot commander or something. I broke that jump captain like 3 times on stream or something. I dropped him so many times that I was like... Ended up calling my stream like, "Don't drop the models, John, you idiot." To be fair, I like using a painting handle sometimes, and you can't use a painting handle in these. Because I don't glue them to their flight stands. I drill a little hole in them like here, and then just attach the flight stands with like a paper clip. It just makes transporting them. I know some people use magnets. I mean, I probably could have used magnets, but I just drilled a hole in them. Broken Angels? Yeah, Broken Angels Commander, there you go. The issue with Calgar is he's an Ultramarine. I like the heads from the Victrix Guard, right? I'm probably gonna, because I've got them right here, I'm probably gonna take these heads and use them on like sergeants or captains. And my plan was actually to convert these 2 Victrix Guard into Blade Guard, so that like if I wanted to play, if I want to use them as Ultramarines characters, I might. But I might. I think I worked out I've got 10 Blade Guard, which is a really weird number. So I think I need 2 more to get to 12. I started using nails instead of flying stance. Marius was saying getting the shields off those guys is going to be a nightmare as well. I think it's going to be difficult to glue back on. I really don't want to create like a bunch of goopy residue around the join either, but I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think it'll go, it's just gonna be perseverance. You should pin the wings? I don't know how I would pin them, they're very thin, man. To be fair, they would have been fine if I hadn't just thrown it on the ground as I was painting it. Yeah, it's almost sticking. Well done, Matthew. You didn't run the 15 captain nonsense, did you? Or did you? Tournament list for next week's tournament? Dude, you represent the Blood Angels next week. Are you playing on a stream or anything? Like you're gonna have a game that we can tune in on? Alright, it's sort of staying. I'm gonna try and balance them against the glue pot or something. Yes? Well, link me it before you play, or when you're playing, and if you can get me a link in any sort of time, I'll share the link, like either on the Blood Angels Commander Facebook page or on the channel member page or something. Oh, you're not gonna be. Oh, I thought you were gonna be able to put the stream somewhere. That's all good. Oh, I'm so tired tonight, guys. I'm not going to be here for too much longer, guys. Like I said, I was out to a football match on Thursday night till like 2 AM because it went to extra time and penalties. So, I think just having to drive till like 2 AM and like forcing myself to like stay, because, you know, like driving when you're tired sucks, but like just forcing myself to be very alert because it was very late at night. It means I just feel very tired tonight. Those models look 10 times better for having wings. Thanks, Robert. I like doing... I feel like I like, you know... I like spending time on the models to give them some flavour or some character. I basically decided, like, they're cables... whatever these are called. I think they're basically like plasma cables to the guns. I'm just going to paint them in the same colour as the plasma coils. So they're going to be like... I suppose the idea is that they'll be like full of plasma energy. Not that anyone else with plasma guns has cables to their guns, but these guys do. I guess that's why their guns do 3 damage a shot, huh? But yeah, best of luck at the Central Iowa GT, man. I think my next GT is going to be January because that's the next one that's on in Inverness, and my kids are still not like when I go away for a weekend for a GT, my kids are still not behaving. It's quite frustrating actually. Like I came home from this GT and like said to my wife like, "How was your weekend?" And she's just like, "Can I please leave the house?" I was like, "Yeah, of course, sweetheart, you can leave the house." So then, you know, like basically like the kids have just been very much too difficult for her all weekend, which is quite frustrating, I guess. But yeah, like in the past I have pinned stuff, like the sort of things that I usually end up pinning were like stuff like Astrath's axe, because Astrath's axe always breaks, doesn't it? I don't know if the new one breaks as much as the old Finecast one, but I feel like everybody that owned a Finecast Astrath, at some time their axe broke. Finecast Dante, his axe always used to break. Was there any other Finecast characters whose weapons always used to break? I feel like it was definitely Dante and Dante and Astrath were two of the big offenders in terms of characters whose weapons just broke all the time. Was there anyone else? I'm trying to think. Corbolo was okay. Lamartez, I feel like, was okay. Seth, I never owned Firstborn Seth. I made a conversion. Yeah, I don't know about Seth actually. I wonder if Seth's going to come back as Primaris. Is that going to be a thing, considering how much he hates them? But yeah, this week I'm wanting to see, if I've got time, I'm wanting to put out an extra video on the channel this week, which is a video about Dark Angels, because I played Dark Angels in the tournament. Like, I had such a tough game against them, like their whole army being -1 to wound, and then their Terminators being -1 to damage. Like, it was brutal. It was brutally difficult for me. So I wanted to make a video about sort of like you know, like how sometimes I would break down like a good Blood Angels list, like break it down as like why this Dark Angels list was difficult for me to deal with. So there might be, time allowing, if it's not this week, hopefully it'll be next week, because I started working on the slides. So time allowing, I'll put out an extra video this week about Dark Angels and why they're potentially very strong at the moment, and what we could potentially try and do to deal with them. Azrael with the Sternguard though, man, like, that's a tough cookie. I felt like that was a really, really good combo. And they potentially get the double oath as well, right? Like, they can put the oath the moment on one target, and they can pay some CP to move it to another target. And Azrael's giving them CP every turn as well, so they've got somewhat decent CP generation for the things they want to do. And the list I played didn't have the lion in it, but honestly didn't feel like it needed it. What do you do with Inceptors if you roll really badly on hazardous rolls? Well, you can CP one of them, right? I mean, so I've been playing 10 Hellblasters, and I think I played them like 10 games. And I think my worst roll with the Hellblasters was like 3 dead models, and that was like from 10 firing. So I would think like a bad roll with the Inceptors is you're killing 3 of your own dudes, which is pretty fucking bad, but like I think it's a pretty low chance. I think realistically you're probably, like, statistically from 6 guys you're only failing 1. Like, so statistically every time they shoot on high power, you don't always have to shoot on high power either, you should only be killing 1 of your own models, which you could CP. But I guess it's, I mean, 40k is a trading game. So if your Inceptors, like, if your Inceptors can come in and blow away a 200 or 300 point unit, And even if one of them dies, that might be a decent trade, you know? Like my Inceptors this week, killed 5 Blade Guard? Which is like 140-ish points of Victrix Guard, and then like half of Calgar. So I mean, they killed like 260, 270 worth of points. I think one of them did die. Is that okay? I mean, probably. I think I did actually try and re-roll the Hazardous, but I think I maybe rolled a 1 into 1. Or maybe that was one of the games that I played last week. I can't quite remember. But yeah, I think like a horrific roll is going to be like 3 of your Inceptors die, but it doesn't happen very often. And it's all about making sure that you're making a positive trade there. And you only need to overcharge if you need the 3 damage. Like, they're still pretty good at 2 damage without overcharge, right? Evening Real Skilling, how are you? I don't know, I mean, there's risk. Every unit has a risk. You know, like, what happens when you move your 9 Sangri, or your 6 Sangri Guard out, excuse me, and then they fail their charge and they're stuck in no man's land? You know, like, how is that any worse than, let's say, rolling a couple of hazardous rolls? You know, it's a dice-based game. I mean, statistically, you would just assume that they do some sort of average performance, right? I'm getting used to playing Plasma Inceptors. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Inceptors are the most tankiest thing in the world either, anyway. No, I'm not happy with this damn wing that came off, you know that? Well, Jack Harpster, who like basically did the best performance of the year with Angelic Inheritors, he ran 9 Inceptors. I think it was 9 Plasma and 3 Bolter. So yeah, I mean, I think there is play in that many Inceptors. It just probably needs a bit of practice, and like any army can have challenges, right? I wish I hadn't dropped this fucking wing. I'm about to rip it off and grab the super glue, honestly. Yeah, alright. We're ripping it off. Let's get some fucking super glue. I'm just not convinced it's gonna stay on properly. I don't know why I don't get super glue earlier. I just hate using super glue, I think. I always manage to stick my fingers together or something, so it's just like, I hate it. But sometimes you just need to go for it. Now, with a bit of poly cement and a bit of super glue now, this will stick. I should have just done that in the first place. Literally sticks in like 2 seconds flat. Yeah, I like that Gorilla Glue. It's good stuff. If you don't know, if you don't use the Gorilla Gel Glue, it is really good stuff. Yeah, but almost too good, right? I said, like, just don't stick your own fingers together. Alright, I'm not going to try and paint any more of him tonight because I'm just going to ruin it, probably. Well, that glue sticks. I am tired anyway, so I think that's pretty much the end of the stream. We're going to be back tomorrow night to do the Army List show, so I'll probably see a bunch of you guys at 8 PM tomorrow night. If you did enjoy hanging out tonight, I enjoyed hanging out, so thanks for the company. Please do leave a like on the stream. But yeah, hopefully I'll be a bit more rested for tomorrow. Thanks to the super chats. There was a few. Thanks. Was there a new member tonight? I think it was just super chats tonight. But yeah, thanks as always for the support. I do really appreciate it. I'll see you at 8 PM tomorrow night. We'll talk Army Lists. And should have, hopefully, fingers crossed, an extra video coming out this week as well. That's my aim anyway. I am trying to put out a little bit more content on the channel, as well as like what do? We do Wednesday nights, the Friday video, Saturday night painting, and then Sunday Army List show. So I do 4 videos a week essentially. I'm trying to occasionally put out a 5th, but I mean I am a one-man band, so 4 is probably. I mean I can manage 4. 5 is challenging. So there might be. I'm trying to get 5 out this week. I might try and do 5 a bit more often as well. So cool. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Peace. Good night.